Hello everybody and welcome back to my channel Lifestyle Critic. I hope you're having a brilliant day. So we just got the conclusion of Hawkeye Series 1, Episode 6, and I have to say it was a really wicked episode, wasn't it? I mean, I don't think the series as a whole was as good as Loki, WandaVision or What If, but it was still pretty wicked in terms of the final episode in particular, as it brought everything from the previous past 5 episodes together with plenty of action, loads of emotional sequences, and set up a future really well, and I cannot wait to break it all down for you in this episode and season review. So we open up with the brilliant Vera Farmiga's Eleanor character trying to cut ties with Kingpin, and I absolutely loved his response to Kazi after she left when he tried to compare it to her leaving a job at Goldman Sachs, and this totally not being acceptable, which I thought was absolutely brilliant. He obviously tried to execute his revenge on her at the end of this episode, but constantly got stopped by Kate Bishop, which I thought was such a good sequence. It was so glorious, just in essence, seeing the brilliant return of Vincent D'Onofrio in this role. I mean, he just embodies everything about this character, lifted and shifted perfectly from the comics and the animated series so well. And I also loved his father-son relationship with Kazi, and you can see why Kazi just bears so much jealousy, as well as a bit of a relationship with the Maya character, and I just wish we would have been able to see a little bit more of this. Speaking of relationships, I love the relationship between Clint and Kate this entire season. I know in the beginning people wanted a little bit more of Clint, but I feel like Hailee Steinfeld really has brought this character of Kate to life in such a cool way, and you really can empathize with her, and her scenes with Clint and Yelena as well was so fantastic. I love how Clint finally acknowledged her as a partner at the start of this episode and at the end of this episode, and when they were making their trick arrows together, it was just such a cool partnership, which I thought was really wicked. And also we get to see that the Kate Bishop character was also telling Clint how she really looks up to him as a hero, and she can really see herself in him, and how he has actually really motivated her, and that actually you don't need superpowers to be brave. I just thought that entire sequence was just so cool, and Hawkeye was finally really getting validated, as he's obviously around these other characters who people really look up to and really want to role model, and finally he's really getting his opportunity to see that he's able to have a really positive impact on someone else, which I just thought was so nice. The party sequence was absolutely awesome. I loved Yelena's really slick entrance and how she was just operating herself in this party. Kazi with the sniper rifle was really terrifying as well, and just seeing all of these posh people at this event was really cool. It really entered, you know, the space in which other American TV shows and movies have, where you get to see the life of the rich and famous, and we get to see that somewhat through the lens of the MCU, which was really wicked. And now we have another elevator scene. We obviously had that super iconic one in The Winter Soldier, and now we have a similar-esque one, this time it being a lot more hilarious between Yelena and with Kate. And I just love how they're really becoming friends whilst also having these hilarious friendship battles as well. Seeing Jack the Swordsman and the other LARPers as well was really cool, as well as Clint versus Kazi, which was absolutely brilliant. I loved all of the lines that Clint was delivering. For example, "This is some Christmas," and "You're right, Kazi, this was fun." So I just think Clint really is such a good character, and this show really has demonstrated that he really does deserve his own space and being the center focus of a TV show. I also loved all of the sequences on the ice, all of the trick arrows, and Kate and Clint versus the thousands of tracksuit bandits. Absolutely wicked. I feel like the ice sequence was really cool, and there were just so many battles in this episode, weren't there? I mean, the battle between Kate and Kingpin was so good, and so Kingpin. I just loved how he really was just brushing off her arrows. He was surviving after this explosion, very animated, and it was really crazy how it only took her 10 minutes to somewhat defeat him, whereas Daredevil, it almost took him 3 seasons to try and do the same thing. So real contrast, and maybe this world's variant version of Kingpin is really different to the one that we saw in the Netflix series. Speaking of battles, we also saw Echo/Maya versus Kazi, which was actually really sad. I thought that we finally saw another side of Kazi when he was saying that, you know, he being the favorite is something that he wanted to have, and that actually now he has this frenemy/love-hate relationship with the Maya character, which like I said is really, really fascinating. Kingpin definitely isn't dead, by the way. I know that there are loads of people on Twitter thinking that this shot means that he has passed away, but there is no way that they would have brought back such an iconic and awesome villain to just kill him off screen. I mean, if you never see the death, it never really happened. And in the comics, there are a couple of different pathways that they could take this character in. I mean, this series as a whole really has celebrated people with slight disabilities, and I wonder if they're going to go down a similar path with the Kingpin character. Also, the scenes with him and Maya was very comics accurate, and really is not the last time that we've seen them confronting each other. My guess is that when the Echo series starts, it will pick up exactly from this moment, so you'll really be able to see what on earth actually happened. Kate confronting Eleanor at the end of this episode was really, really great. I just loved how they always had a lens of a mother-daughter relationship, but just with a real toxic, slight different edge to it, with loads of secrets and not really knowing what people are thinking at the same time. I mean, we predicted it all the way back from episode 1 that Eleanor is going to be one of the big bads of this series, and I just think it was only right for her to then be taken away to prison right at the end. Also, Yelena and Clint was not only absolutely excellent, that battle, from an actions point of view, but it was also so emotionally charged. I love the respect that they've given the Natasha Romanoff character across this entire series, and in particular in this final episode where you can really feel the heartbreaking of both Yelena and of Clint as well. And I also love the fact that Clint knew about Natasha and Yelena's past, as well as their secret whistle as well. I feel like when that happened, it was just so moving, and you could really feel all of the emotional beats that the Yelena character is going through. I mean, seeing the Kate and Clint relationship as well, and them donning the comics accurate costumes at the end of this episode was really, really nice, and also reminded me of when Wanda got her comics accurate suit as well in the final episode of WandaVision, which I thought was really, really wicked. The Christmas tree sequence with Clint being stuck at the top was absolutely brilliant, and Clint finally made it home for Christmas with his family, and has also brought a new family member with him, which I thought was really, really cool. And we also got to see that the Laura Barton character actually is an ex-SHIELD agent as Mockingbird, and I'm sure they'll restart this storyline in the next season, which would be really, really great, as Linda Cardellini really does deserve to be part of all of the action sequences, which I think would be really, really wicked. I absolutely love the final shot of this show, which was zooming into the target board whilst having Kate and Clint walking off in the background, thinking about Kate's new name, which I just thought was such a nice way to round off this show, and was just absolutely brilliant. I mean, finally, we didn't really get a proper post-credit scene with any of these characters, but instead we got the full rendition of the Avengers Broadway musical, where they were all singing I Could Do This All Day, which was really, really funny. But I mean, come on, it would have been a lot better if they had shown us at least a bit of a tease into what could happen in the future of either this show in terms of another season, or in the Echo show. But you know, either way, it was really, really funny, and I just feel like from an episode and season point of view, the first season of Hawkeye was actually really, really wicked. So the 6th episode of Hawkeye was really, really exciting, and they had all of the elements that you would have wanted in a finale episode. For example, brilliant action sequences, really emotional beats, awesome confrontations that they have been building up all season long, and a really nice Christmas shaped bow to wrap everything together across this season. And it did really feel like a bit of a mini Marvel TV Avengers moment, which I thought was absolutely wicked. I am really intrigued to see how they're going to take this show forward with both of the Hawkeye characters, and I just cannot wait to see Daredevil and Kingpin returning, hopefully together in the Echo series, which I think is going to be pretty awesome, especially following all of the events in this show, and in particular in this episode. So those are all of my thoughts on the 6th and final episode of Hawkeye. Now I'd love to hear from you, so please let me know what you thought of it, and what you thought of all of this show in general, and of the storylines, and of the characters. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Otherwise, I look forward to seeing you in my next video. Bye everyone.